What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bryce Sensei. Welcome back to the ends. And today we reacting to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, bro. The breakdown by new Rockstar. When I tell you, bro, go watch Spider-Man. Go watch it. We just gonna react to this immediately. Let's get it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, a heartbreaking and stunningly animated sequel to 2018's Into the Spider-Verse, a movie filled with Easter eggs, cameos, and incredible attention to detail. I'm gonna break this movie down frame by frame to point out a ton of details that you might have missed, and I revisited and broke down the 2018 film for dozens of new details, and I hosted a live stream of a
I might go back and rewatch the first one, low key. Like, I do remember it was so fire shit, but I don't even recall too much of it. I ain't gonna lie to ya, but I'm gonna rewatch that shit.
Across the Spider-Verse on the Deep Dive channel. So subscribe to the Deep Dive.
It's that good. The new one is that good.
Multiverse dive
I gotta go back, backtrack.
And whoa, hey, look at that! I'm already wearing it right now. I'm gonna wear this shirt until I'm bleeding from my armpits. Okay, over the opening glitching logos for Sony, Columbia Pictures, and Marvel, there is a brief Miles from his name tag in the 2018 film that he slapped on everything. And the Lord and Miller logo has their crest glitching to an old-timey fine mustaches ad with the faces of the producers themselves. And as with the 2018 film, we actually open with the approved by the Comic Authority stamp, which was
I saw that. I was like, the fuck does that mean? This is this certified, like straight up from the comics? Cause if it is, then I know it's about to be crazy. Is it?
On comics covers in the 50s to reassure parents that the comics wouldn't glorify crime or corrupt their kids' minds. We open with Gwen Stacy this time, framing this sequel as much her story as it is Miles's. She says, let's do things differently this time, telling Miles' story third person instead of...
Yeah, nah. Why did they start like that? At first I was like, oh, I thought this was a Miles Morales story. Like, huh? Why is Gwen all of a sudden taking over? Is this gonna be a Gwen? Like, I mean, I'm cool with that, but like, where's my nigga Miles at? Like, I'm just saying.
Instead of the first-person perspective of the introductions of the first film. We see the selfie of Gwen and Miles that she had on her phone in the last film, where you can actually see Peter B. Parker's legs stretched out between the bus seats behind them. This was on their bus ride back, the first time they really connected. And we see Gwen drumming as a member of her band, the Mary Janes, setting up the wild drum solo music that we hear over the closing minutes of the movie as Gwen reassembles her new band. But during Gwen's solo here, we see flashes of Miles' life from the first film, but also his upcoming battles with Miguel. And
yo, that nigga Miguel. You see this spot, bro? This spot was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Let me hold on. Let me call someone real quick. It's gonna be like 2 seconds. Literally like 2 seconds. Bro, pick up your phone, ya bum. Oh, he lost his phone. I hate niggas, bro. Like, the worst timing too. Whatever. Fuck it. Fuck it. It's not that deep. It's not that deep anyways. Let's just continue, chat.
The spot. So really, this kind of serves as an overture or a prologue for the events to come. This is Gwen's home universe, Earth 65, and the animators designed it to have a pastel watercolor aesthetic.
It was wild.
So great. The paint strokes flood into each other, like, a contrast to the harder lines and boundaries of the other realities. On the subway, Miles appears in the windows, recalling the 2018 film when Stan Lee appeared as an angelic presence on passing trains, which really hit hard back then because it was just a few weeks after Stan died. Gwen remembers before Miles when there was her Peter Parker. This Peter is voiced by Jack Quaid. In her flashbacks, Gwen has longer hair because this was before Miles stuck his hand to her hair and she had to shave it. Gwen flashes through several meals that she, Peter, George, and Aunt May prayed before, including one that might be Halloween. Peter dresses as a dinosaur or a lizard. Gwen in a traffic cone shirt. George is a cowboy. And they're all eating, what is that? Bagels. This is the...
Bro, look. I already said in the beginning, bruv. Spoilers already been warned about if you're not gonna watch this shit. You know what I mean? Go watch Spider-Man. Go watch Spider-Man right now then. And then come back to this whenever it's done. Yes, sir.
Cursed food that led to the spot, and in 2022 became the symbol for the multiverse with everything everywhere all at once.
It was a big donut.
Earth 65 Peter isn't Flash Thompson, it's Ned. As in the Spider-Gwen comics, this Peter becomes the lizard, thus his Halloween costume, which we actually saw at the end of Gwen's backstory in the 2018 film. And then we hear the voice of J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Bro, he got it. J. Jonah, I fuck with that nigga. He really just phoned Spider-Man pictures. Give him Spider-Man pictures, man.
reporting Captain George Stacy is leading the manhunt for Spider-Woman. Simmons voices J. Jonah Jameson in several different realities in this movie, including the Lego universe later. This guy is a freaking Nexus being, I'm telling you. In the
I swear, bro. He's his own little character inside the show, and it's like, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, I fucks with you. I fucks with you.
Family home.
Funny as hell.
Is watercolor painted blue and an otherwise pink wash, showing her depression. Her room, her sanctuary, is also blue like she is, but her dad, in orange and fuchsia, wears a faded Visions Gymnastic Academy sweatshirt, suggesting he might have once done cheer and probably coached Gwen's acrobatics when she was young. He's a good papa. Gwen is replaced teal ballet slippers with
like Gwen's dad, bro, was such a W pops throughout the whole movie. Like, immaculate mans, bro.
Teal Chuck Taylors, which she reportedly got from Hobie Brown. So I don't know, maybe they met before.
This nigga was corny. I swear. Like, he cool as fuck. I can't deny him that. Yes, facts. But that does not mean he cannot be corny. This nigga was fucking corny. Like, nigga, we get it. I don't support this. I don't support that. Okay, heard you. You don't support nothing, bro. What do you actually fuck with then? Let me hear that part. I'm not here for none of whatever you own, bro. But I need, like, I low-key, like, in real life, I low-key need a nigga like this who just does spontaneous random shit. And it's like, bro, I guess, bro, let's just do whatever you want, bro. Fuck it.
Before Gwen teams up with Miguel and Jess in the Spider Society, when Gwen hugs her dad, the blueness of her room warms into pink watercolor. Sometimes that's all it takes to change your whole world. Above Gwen's door is a sign reading, "Protect trans kids," and some of you are mad now. And if that pisses you off, feel free to stop watching.
I even see that shit.
Spider-Gwen webs up her dad.
So, how's the manhunt for me going?
As she lowers
I ain't gonna lie, that one was personal.
her voice just like Miles does when he is masked and he talks to his dad.
Thank you for your bravery tonight.
Now the Vulture she fights glitched here from another universe, and he's named Adriano Tumino instead of Adrian Toombs, voiced by
no. When that Vulture came in, I was just like, okay, now I know this movie's about to be crazy, cause yo, is this a 2D character in a 3D world? Like, what's going on here? This is literally like a character from, like, I don't know, the comics, I guess. Like, comic wise, if you've read it, like 2D. I you know, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But like, bro, I was like confused because like they animated it like crazy. I was astonished. I ain't gonna lie. It was immaculate.
Jorma Taccone. His design and his sepia color tone and his papery texture is based on Leonardo da Vinci's sketches. I like how when he fires weapons, Da Vinci scribbles and instructions appear around him. He lands in front of the Jeff Koons retrospective exhibit. This is a real exhibit at the Guggenheim with balloon animal fixtures made from stainless steel. So basically, this is a Renaissance era artist disgusted with postmodernism. It's just kind of an art joke. He says, which translates to "bye girl" on the screen, but Gwen is saved by Miguel O'Hara, voiced by Oscar Isaac, Spider-Man 2099 from Earth 928, who first appeared in the 2018 film post-credit scene. Gwen says,
I'm sorry, who exactly are you supposed to be?
Isn't it obvious?
The Blue Panther.
This motherfucker thought he was Batman so much. Like, bro, no, bro. No, you're not, bro. You want to be him so bad, though.
It's funny.
The Caped Blue Satyr?
yes, Blue Panther reference to Black Panther with similar claws, Caped Blue Satyr reference to Batman, Caped Crusader with similar brooding. When he's introduced with this comic, it lands on the stack of the comics of all the other Spider people we've met, including all the ones in the first film and the order that we met them. I just like how this stack is cumulative. Miguel shames her and the others for breaking the multiverse in the last movie, and then he says,
He started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
Who's Doctor Strange? Sounds like he maybe shouldn't practice medicine.
yes, Earth 199-999 has in the past been the numerical designation for the MCU films and the shows, but this was thrown into question when Christine Palmer called it 616 in Multiverse of Madness. I made a video proposing that the MCU deserves neither designation.
Wait, huh? Wait, so niggas don't know which universe the main one is, or like has Marvel just like fucked itself with its own continuity when it comes to that?
Vulture reassembles his wing, and Miguel complains, he's got hammer space. And then we see an editor's note text window popping up, defining it as an infinite extra-dimensional storage area for cartoon gamers and the like. This is calling back Spider-Man.
Hold on. Yo, Little bro over here crying for no reason. I'm already knowing.
Mallet gift to Miles that he said could fit into any pocket and not take up any space. Miguel's digital assistant is Lila, Miles' storage area for cartoon hammers and the like. This is calling back Spider-Ham's mallet gift to Miles that he said could fit into any pocket and not take up any space. Miguel's digital assistant is Lila, voiced by Greta Lee, and she calls in Spider-Woman Jessica Drew, voiced by Issa Rae. Her yellow goggles match the
Spider-Woman was cold. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, she did her thing.
Of her yellow eyepieces in the comics. Overall, she has the red, black, and yellow color scheme like she does. And
like, Shorty was pregnant though. Like, that's still kind of mad. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Props to you, cause like, while pregnant is kind of crazy. Like, maybe just finish having the kid and then go back to your Spider-Man ways. Like, I'm just saying.
And yes, she is pregnant.
Are you?
Yeah, like,
we don't know the sex yet. My husband wants it to be a surprise. He's really corny, but so hot.
Jessica Drew is pregnant in the comics leading up to the Secret Wars event, and we do not meet her husband in this movie. Presumably, we will meet this interesting character in the third movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse, coming next year. Now, when the Vulture falls,
next year, nigga. Oh, say less, bro. Say less. It's gonna be a fantastic year next year, man. Come on now.
Says notte notte, which is Italian for night night, and the three of them stop the helicopter from crashing over the bystanders, and one looks up at it and says, yeah, I think it's a Banksy, which is a callback to the same exact soundbite from the 2018 film, the vocal cameo by Post Malone. Yeah, I think it's a Banksy. So Captain Stacy holds his daughter at gunpoint, and she unmasks herself, and the watercolor brushstrokes smear down behind them, just a cool way of showing their whole world melting.
Yeah, nah, it was crazy because the color schemes and like just the way it looked with the like pastel type of, I was just like, yo, am I looking? This is literally art. Like, this is actually just art on some shit.
Miguel and Jess invite Gwen out of pity to join the Spider Society, and they leave through these hexagonal portals, hexagons being a recurring shape in the MCU to show rifts through space and through dimensions. So on to Earth 1610, Brooklyn. There's a food cart for Mother Shuckers. I love it. We follow this spot, voiced by Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, like, bro, he started off with robbing a bank just because he had to. Because, like, look at him, bro. Like, bro looks like some deformed, I don't know, like,
Mother Shuckers. This is the bodega register. Follow this spot.
He looked like some, I don't know, deformed, unusual, something. I don't know. He looked like a crusty ass, a bunch of chalk stuck together with, like, I don't know. Bruh. Anyways, bro really had to rob an ATM just because he looked like that. I mean, hey, bro. I feel you. If I had some ability, OP ability, but it made me look like, I don't know, some crust infected, I don't know why that dude. I don't fucking know. Like, he just looks weird as shit, bro. Like, look at man's, right? Like, what the fuck is that, bro? He trying to be Slender Man so bad. Like, stop it, bro.
Voiced by Jason Schwartzman as he robs the ATM of a bodega. As he passes the bodega register, it reads, "Game over." So the Spot peels off one of his oozy ink dots to try to open a portal into this ATM, but he fails. At one point, he runs his own hand to the side and he hurts his knuckles. But when he finally reaches in, notice how the $100 bill has a different face than Benjamin Franklin? Thought this might be director Joaquin Dos Santos, not exactly sure. And in addition to calling it an ATM machine, the Spot says PIN number, which is also redundant since N stands for number already. Now, Miles cuts away from this to recap the past year. The sequel, I believe, is set 1 year and 4 months after the first movie. Among the villains he fights appears to be the Marvel villain Leapfrog. He says he hosted Jeopardy with categories including Arachnidiums, Spider Sense and Sensibility, the Wide Web World, and Thwibbit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. In his own world, that nigga Miles, it's really a Brooklyn Spider-Man, because it's like he does his job. He doesn't do it good, like excellently, but he does it.
He endorsed baby powder.
He does it.
B. Parker's advice in the first film to use baby powder to get in and out of the suit. Then he has to apologize in a YouTube video. And then we see Miles adding to his No Expectations wall art mural all of his friends from the 2018 film. I love how throughout this movie, Uncle Aaron keeps coming back and back and back just to remind us how important he is to Miles' life and set up the big twist in the final act of this movie. This fight with the Spot causes him to be late to his parent-teacher conference, flying through portals in the background and catching a goose.
Nigga wasn't even late. He was literally 5 minutes. No, he was on time, but 5 minutes he was supposed to be like, bro, it's not that deep, is it, bro? Like, come on now.
which is a callback to when Miles got stuck to 2 pigeons in the first movie, and when they fly through a blue portal. Following them is another bagel, the symbol of Jonathan Owen's pain and his rage toward Miles. I like how on Jefferson's phone text history, he wrote in all caps, "This is imporkage," and then he tried to correct Inforkent, and then finally gets it right, important.
Yeah, I saw that shit. This shit was
dodging his
corny. I was like, yeah, nah, this nigga definitely a dad on some shit, cause like, bro, important. Nah, come on, bro.
At one point, squeezing between a punch and a kick, essentially threading the needle. I love it. Miles.
Oh yeah, no. Another point of this movie, nah, this shit low-key showed how strong this nigga Miles is, cause bro is really built different. Like he's him when it comes to Spider-Man. He is him. I'm not gonna say fuck Peter Parker, cause he cold too still. Cause hey, that's my nigga. But Miles could beat your ass, bro. That's all I'm saying.
On the head, and red text reads, "Good cow," because of
He's
all the
him.
spots. He looks like a Dalmatian and a cow. And then Miles of the Spot tumble into the foam party cafe, having a literal foam party with all the suds and bubbles and that goose squawking around. This is the same cafe that Jefferson pointed out at the beginning of the 2018 film, one with the long line, as the neighborhood was being gentrified. Miles returns to his Brooklyn Visions Academy dorm room, where his roommate remains, Ganke Lee, who is Miles' buddy in the Ultimate Comics, but this character in the 2018 film had all of his dialogue cut. The character has now been given lines and aged up in physique and in voice.
I'm not your guy in the chair.
Are those my Jordans?
I can't help it if we're the same size.
Guy in the chair, a reference to Ned Leeds, Jacob Batalon's character in the MCU, being Tom Holland, Peter Parker's guy in the chair in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I kind of see my like replay over here. I know I even have the OBS, but I have a kick opened up, and I literally just saw my goofy ass off, not even like holding that shit.
Homecoming, and the character of Ned in the MCU was really just based off of Ganke Lee from the Ultimate Comics. Now, Ganke Lee is voiced in this movie by Peter Sohn, director of Pixar's Elemental, and is also the voice of Socks in Pixar's Lightyear, since one of the co-directors of this movie is Kent Powers, director of Pixar's.
I forgot they had a Lightyear movie. Like, has anybody watched that shit? Like, how is it? Cause I don't know. I kind of got weirded out that they actually started doing movies like that. Like, Lightyear himself does not need a whole movie, okay? Like, none of those toy niggas. Like, stop it. Just stop.
Soul, I like how they just keep it in the family, even though Peter Sohn's Elemental is going to be in direct competition with Across the Spider-Verse in the month of June.
Ooh! What? Yo, nah, what is that? That shit looks beautiful. The fuck? Hold on.
Family, even though Peter Sohn's Elemental is going to be in direct competition with Across the Spider-Verse.
Fireboy and Water Girl? I mean, Fire Girl and Water Boy, I guess now, but like,
in the month of June at the box office. At the end of the day,
they should have done it. They should have done it the other way, low key. Come on, keep it the
Miles finally
OG.
arrives at the parent-teacher conference, where his teacher is voiced by Rachel Dratch.
Miles' grades are pretty good.
Yo, nah, low key, this teacher was low key, just a tad bit racist, just a tad bit. I was like, wait, yo, what do you mean? What do you mean?
A in AP Physics.
That's my little man.
And a B in Spanish.
What?
Ooh, okay.
Miles.
Are you trying to
Mira,
kill
eso
your
es imposible.
I love how Jefferson tries to place that cat-themed desk ornament back together, but he fails. The teacher's eyes
Can
just
you
start
leave the
over,
order?
but she just keeps talking anyway. It's kind of like in Iron Man 2 when Tony Stark obsesses over that thing on his desk. We learn that Miles
I
is
don't
excelling
care.
at AP Physics because, like the MCU Peter Parker, it just helps any Spider-Man to know physics and trajectories and motion. But Miles' B in Spanish is met with outrage from his Puerto Rican mother, and when she snaps, it forms a little Puerto Rican flag, like the sting of his mother's snap hits him with the full might of his Puerto Rican heritage. So Miles...
Yeah, nah. I feel you, bro. Me, myself, I'm Kenyan, okay? And it's like, whenever it comes to, like, a language and shit, it's like, yo, look, ma, like, I've been speaking English, like, pretty much most of my life at this. Y'all niggas speak English, too. Speak Swahili to me, and I'll pick up, because I still do know some. But, like, bro, look. Damn, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, okay?
Miles leaves the guidance counselor's office to rejoin his fight with the Spot, which tumbles into Wilson Fisk's old Alchemex Collider site, the location of the showdown of the 2018 film, but it's now under construction with this canopy made of reflective panels, reminding me of the dome that was constructed over the Chernobyl site. Based on this "Pardon Our Mess" sign, it looks like Alchemex are the ones actually cleaning it up. Maybe they're continuing to have some nefarious plans here. Like, you would think the government would be like, you guys aren't allowed anywhere near this. So the Spot explains his backstory, and we see the Earth-42 spider that bit Miles, but in its Earth 42 reality, right before it left, it was going to bite alternate Miles. You can see his hair in braids. This is foreshadowing the Miles.
Yo, alternate Miles, bro, is a real nigga, man. Look at him, bro. He's a villain. He's definitely a... I don't fuck with nothing. I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with nothing you own. Fuck you, basically. That's literally his whole demeanor. His whole demeanor is literally piss off, bro.
See in the third act of the movie, the big twist, telling us that in that reality, it was not going to be a Peter Parker who got bit. It was going to be a Miles Morales. The Spot reveals that he was the one who got struck with that hilarious bagel action word. I love that they brought this guy back. So between Owen being the source of Spider 42 coming into 1610 and Miles being the source of the bagel incident, they really did create each other. The Spot trips and he kicks himself in the butt through a portal. It looks like one of the pieces from debris from the hex tiles kind of looks like the rectangular USB drive from the first film. The trip mirrors Miles tripping on his shoelaces when he was running across the rooftop for his jump test. That is what broke the USB drive, and it kind of was the embarrassment early in his arc that motivated the rest of his story. So similarly for the Spot in this movie, his embarrassment here is really what unlocks the next stage of his hero's journey. He finds himself in this inky hole realm where...
Yo, they fleshed out man's ability so well. Like, man, they say, okay, first off, he can make portals, okay? That in itself is already clean as fuck. But then when they hit him with, oh, go in your own portal, you go inside yourself, I was like, nigga, what? This is some black hole shit. What's going on? And each portal is like to another world. I was like, I bet. Heard you. This shit is fire. Heard you. Heard you.
All the dark matter has left his body, creating all these portals into the multiverse. The first he looks into is this classic animation universe from the 1940s with Ben Day dots. There's a woman in a black and white polka dot blouse who hits him with her purse, her blouse matching the pattern of his skin. On the cinema marquee is a movie titled The Tall Man, coming soon. Then he looks into the Lego universe, calling back Lord Miller's work on the Lego movies. We'll come back to this one. Then he drops by Chinatown of Earth 688 with Ms. Chen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miss Chang over here. I was waiting for this immediately. I ain't gonna lie. But like, yo, she got it. She's been through all the superhero shit. It's like if you had like an apartment, like or some shit, and like where the Avengers will like box and shit, and it's like, oh yeah, nah, I'm already knowing half of the street is about to get destroyed. It's a regular Tuesday, regular everyday Wednesday. It's, come on, just a regular day, man. I don't care. Like, huh? Did a whole ass giant ass rhino just run through the entire city? Oh, okay, but I still gotta get to work. Type shit, like, damn. She's been through that bitch.
From Venom and Venom Let There Be Carnage.
What do you want? I'm robbing you because I'm a bad guy.
I love how unfazed this chick
Literally,
is.
it's like,
And the brand
oh
of gum
my
he
God.
steals, if you look closely, is Brock's Venomint, a reference to Eddie Brock, Venom. And this establishes Sony's Venom movies as Universe 688 and their system of organizing this. Spot looks at his hands and says, the power of the multiverse in the palm of my hand. A nod to Doc Ock's line in Spider-Man 2 in 2004.
The power of the sun
In
in the palm of my hand.
Which he echoes in Spider-Man No Way Home.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
I low-key, I don't know. I don't remember the second one too much. I kind of watched like only one part, like one time, only one time, and I mean I don't really remember. I remember they had hella boxing. Like that Spider-Man had like he could box for real, but other than that, I don't know. He played the best like Spider-Man hero type shit. He played the best Spider-Man hero. Tom is the new Spider-Man, so I'm not gonna give him no air. He's just a kid. He played the kid Spider-Man girl, and then of course Toby. He played his own Spider-Man. Really, he played his own Spider-Man.
Back in the Legoverse, we see a text box, which is actually in the shape of a red Lego brick, labeling this Earth 13122. This Peter Parker is voiced by Nick Novicki. There's a Lego J. Jonah Jameson in this Daily Bugle office, and they use J.K. Simmons' audio from the 2002 Sam Raimi film when he says,
"Tomorrow morning, Spider-Man, page 1 with a decent picture this time."
So back at 1610, Miles cannot flip when he's carrying cake boxes, so he has to ride a crowded train. Kind of like Tobey Maguire Peter Parker trying to pizza time in Spider-Man 2 and having to take the elevator afterward. Miles has to hop off the track to quickly zap the villain, the Armadillo. kilo. And then Miles foils a thief stealing Nikes. He passes a bunch of gawkers, including this smiling dumbass with glasses. This is an aged up version of that goofy student who smiles at Miles in the Visions Academy in the first film. Miles shows up late with the cakes to the rooftop party, having changed into his basketball jersey, number 42, Miles' number. The cakes are now wrecked. His heartfelt messages spelling out just, I'm not, and then proud. Jeff and Rio complain that Genki calls them by their first name, so later when Gwen does it, they really cringe. Miles refers to his friends Peter and Gwanda using Gwen's fake name that she gave him in the first film. Miles returns to his room where boxing gloves hang by the door, again reminding us of his boxing lessons with Uncle Aaron. There's also a Michelle Obama campaign sticker suggesting that in 1610 she was the Obama who held, or at least sought, public office. Whereas before it was Sunflower, the hot track of this sequel is Hummingbird by Metro Boomin and James Blake, which Miles chills out.
Metro Boomin, make it boom. Metro Boomin, make it boom.
To here. Remember, the 2018 film ended with Miles listening to Post Malone's.
Bro, nah, he has to have the best like fucking tag ever. He said, make it boom. This is too funny, man.
Over his bed and
I've been gonna lie.
And this scene picks up with a similar moment, just like that. But a year has passed since the events of the first film, and notice how throughout this movie, Miles has been aged up a bit. A longer face, he's a bit taller, and he has longer hair. Floating around his room is a bunch of trading cards with these red and white balls on them. These are for Teriyakimon, the 1610 version of Pokemon. And when they're sitting on the bed, floating past is a framed photo of Miles with his uncle.
Yo,
Aaron,
leave Dior. Clearly, he's trying to just sleep, bro.
Like, film. And
go
on
upstairs
Miles'
or
shelf
some
is an
shit.
RC Spider-Mobile, which 1610 Peter had a life-size version of in the 2018
Mike, I'm not
film.
gonna
And
play
above
with
that,
you,
this
bro.
specific photo of Miles' dad.
I'm not gonna play with you. Go upstairs, bro. It is not funny, bro. Like, I keep telling you, leave Dior alone, bro. You're bothering, bro. Like, if you see his eyes right now, he's squinting, just trying to go to bed, but you're over here harassing him. Go upstairs, bro.
Trading cards with these red and white balls on them. These are for Teriyakimon, the 1610 version of Pokemon. And when they're sitting on the bed, floating past is a framed photo of Miles with his uncle Aaron, his mentor figure, who was shot by Kingpin in the 2018 film. And on Miles' shelf is an RC Spider-Mobile, which 1610 Peter had a life-size version of in the 2018 film. And above that, the specific photo of Miles' dad Jefferson and his brother Aaron that Jefferson had as his phone background. And this exact photo was framed in Aaron's apartment. So this is probably something Miles found in his uncle's apartment and moved to his bedroom. Also on the shelf,
what the fuck are these niggas? What is bro talking about right now? Like, I'm just lost. Miss hella information, unnecessary. But okay.
On the left side of frame, Miles has this wooden moose. This is actually an Easter egg for Lord and Miller's 2021 film, Mitchell's vs. Machines. This moose is a hugely
that shit was fire. That shit was fire.
Finds Miles' sketchbook. Our man is lucky that she didn't see any of the other drawings he probably drew of her in this. But over on the left, he kept a bus ticket stub. Hudson Valley Explorer Schenectady to Brooklyn Central. This was the bus ride home that they took after Gwen saved them from Olivia Octavius in the forest in the 2018 film. So Miles has been scrapbooking his relationship.
Yo, she came in like hella clean looking the first one. That's all I will say though.
With her, Miles and Gwen swing from construction crane to construction crane, just like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man does at the climax of the
Andrew Garfield. Hey, my fault, Andrew, bro. But like, you know what I mean? I did just watch your movie once, bro. Don't expect me to remember your name, bro. Nor do I even remember names anyways, bro. My fault, bro.
2012 Amazing Spider-Man film as they thread.
I'm saying that like that nigga finna see this shit like. Nigga, fuck you. No.
The needle between buses. Notice how this whole block is
That'll
just
be fire,
colored in pink and teal hues.
Come on.
A way of showing how Gwen's colors are tinting and shading this reality as her influence spreads throughout it. There's this awesome point of view shot from the truck driver. Miles swings on the right side, reflected in both mirrors, and then we turn to the right side mirrors as he flies behind the truck. And the exclamation points from his scream chase him, just like the "ah" from his fall in the 2018 film, and the
Yo, low key, that's actually one of the like interesting things that Marvel does with the animated shows. It's like the movies. It's like they actually try to make it kind of like a comic book, like a 3D comic book. Yeah. I guess that's, I don't know.
woo in the final.
It's like just them adding the text, kind of like it's a comic. It's just kind of cool. I can't lie.
act. I just love how Miles stays behind Gwen throughout this whole sequence, hiding his clumsy collisions and trying to come off as more confident than he really is. Really though, just copying Gwen's moves, like hastily tying his web to his ankle. He tries to claim that he's learned just as much as she has, but really he's just actively learning in this moment from her.
Hey, he just be moving like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. He just does things his own way, bro. That's my nigga. Fuck with him. Yes, sir.
Ask the hot dog vendor, and we see the action word take on the hot dog swipe, but then Miles whips money to the vendor's chest. If you look closely, this is an alternate universe $25 bill. I love this. There's just a kid who mindlessly licks the window of the train with a big smile. I think he's my favorite character in this movie. I can watch
Nah, that nigga was a fucking dumbass, bro. I'm like, nigga, get your goof ass on, little bro.
him on loop. This is just so funny to me. Gwen plants a drone to spy on the Spot's apartment. Above it, I love this, is a billboard with a bagel. All of it, always, all over the place. A 1610 version of the bagel theme.
Low key, hold on. These types of posters where they kind of try to separate the words into like this type of format. It's really stupid because I'm like, I could look at this and be like, all always over there, off it all. Like, nigga, what the fuck is, huh? Like I don't know. You trying a little too much. You trying a little too much. Whoever makes these types of posters, you trying a little too much, bro. Like, niggas are not like gonna look at a poster for longer than 3 seconds. Like, we're not dissecting that bitch.
Bagel, all of it, always, all over the place. A 1610 version of the bagel themed Everything Everywhere All at Once. This movie's animators clearly acknowledging the bagel parallel with Jonathan Owen. Miles and Gwen look out at the city, sitting upside down from the Williamsburg Bank building, creating such a trippy but great visual. Gwen says,
in every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man. And in every other universe, it doesn't end well.
Not only is she referring to Earth-65 Peter's death as the Lizard, she's also referring to the universes where Gwen Stacy famously dies in the Death of Gwen Stacy arc, like we saw with Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Back of the
Oh, back, bro.
Top party, Miles and Gwen whip some food, and we see a can of grape drink, a nod to my favorite Dave Chappelle bit.
A lot of black people don't have the privilege of knowing about grape juice because they have grape drink. It's not the same formula.
After Miles' parents scare off Gwen, we get this heartfelt moment between Miles
Come
and his
on,
mother,
bro.
Rio. The city they look out on has incomplete sketch lines in the distant background for the buildings, kind of in the haze of the city. It's just a really cool detail to suggest that the Manhattan skyline is a part of New York that Miles might not know as well, because really his home neighborhood is Brooklyn. Rio gives Miles the advice that he really needs for this whole film, saying that she hopes her son never lets any one of those big, fancy, important places he's going to be in tell him that he doesn't belong there. I think all of us can relate to feeling like an imposter or a mistake or told that we're not ready for the—
Yo, whoa, nigga, damn, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Nigga, no! Like, who, huh? Yo, damn. He said we all feel like mistakes, like, nigga, yo, speak for yourself, bro, because that's kind of mad. Golly, bro.
big leagues. And I think the third Spider-Verse movie will prove imposter or a mistake or told that we're not ready for the big leagues. And I think the third Spider-Verse movie will prove that Miles' anomalistic status is actually the rule all Spider people should live by. But it's just sad.
Bro, it's cause he's him, bro. Like, he really just does his own thing. Like, that's really all I'm saying, bro. Like, do your own thing, Chad. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, don't let niggas just stop you from, like, progressing on your own shit, bro. Like, you just gotta keep it moving, bro. Niggas are always gonna hate somebody. There's literally how many people now in this world? Like, how many people are in this world? 8 billion? Yeah, there's like over 8 billion niggas. Somebody's gonna hate. Just keep moving out this. Like fuck whoever that person is.
I think that this moment with Rio—
oh, fuck all of them. Fuck all of them.
is the last time in this movie Miles will talk to his home reality mother. And his chat with Jeff earlier might be the last time he talks to his dad from any reality. Miles changes wardrobe as he descends a fire escape, unzipping his pants on the ground and seeing a dog walker and a dog, and then awkwardly re-zipping his pants back up. Okay, then to Owen's apartment. We see from photographs that he was once a long-haired and bearded colleague to Liv Octavius. His spider containers are labeled Earth 42. This was the spider that bit Miles, which is now deceased because Miles swatted and killed it. But there are other containers labeled 14512, that's Penny Parker's universe, 333, 90214, that is Spider-Man Noir's universe, and 19925. This is a universe supposedly written by a bot. Miles—
now, how the fuck did you even like see that one? Like, that last part, look, I don't know,
jumps in after Gwen into the portal tunnel and lands in Earth 50101, Mumbai, Mumbai in Manhattan.
My boy, this next Spider-Man was so cool, bro.
From above, its geography looks like the island of Manhattan, but greener, and what we think are the rivers are actually just the city's lower levels. The artist designed Manhattan to keep going down and down and down, a contrast to 1610 and Nueva York, where the city just goes up and up and up. In Manhattan, instead of the trains running on top of the tracks, the cars hang below from the rail above them. Throughout Manhattan, you can see signs for Zomato, which is a restaurant group in India, and here we meet Pav, Privateer.
Yes, sir. One of the cleanest Spider-Mans I've seen. I ain't gonna lie to you. I came in. I was like, huh? Indian Spider-Man, like, or I don't know. But like, yo, huh? What's going on here? Like, okay, I guess if I'm about to see one of those slow-mo stupid shit. Yo, I swear, dog, I love those shits. It's like, bro, why? Just making things slow-mo does not make you look cooler, bro. You're still, like, it's...
Spider-Man India from Earth 50101 is voiced by Karan Soni, aka Dopinder from the Deadpool films.
No wonder that nigga funny as hell, bro. I love that nigga, bro. I was literally gonna rewatch Deadpool like a couple of days ago. Like, damn.
This web shooter on a spindle like a yo-yo. It looks so cool. All
ice.
the
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Are in Hindi. Like at one point we see whip in Hindi, and when Privateer hits the spot in the back of the head, it makes this Hindi word dadak, which translates to roughly bang or slam. And Privateer corrects Miles on the common American chai tea mix-up.
I love chai tea.
What did you just say?
Chai tea? Chai means tea, bro. You're saying tea.
I mean, yeah, but like even us Africans, we call it African chai tea. It's like, nigga, just allow it, bro. You know what I'm talking about. I get chai is tea, but like, what, African chai? That's just it.
And I love how Miles is so distracted, he spills the tea. It flows from the cup onto the table. Also, you could consider this a callback to Miles correcting the spot on ATM machine, which is also redundant. The M stands for machine already. So as these three fight the spot in Manhattan, we see that his dark matter has filled in more of his body so that he's gradually going more from white to black throughout this movie. He makes it to the Manhattan Alchemix lab for its collider, and Miles tries to supercharge the barrier with this new move that he's working on, but Hobie Brown arrives, Spider-Punk, voiced by Daniel Kaluuya, and he looks so cool in this movie.
Bro, he was high. He did look pretty decently cool, but it's like, I don't know.
Made him of different
my nigga, Batman Spider-Man was still clean. That's what I'm saying. But this nigga Punk Rock, let's get it.
Pictures of paper newspapers and posters, but a lot of it is in the speed of.
Don't get it twisted though. I still fuck with bro. It's just he's corny. I can tell you corny, bro. Don't even lie. Don't even hide that shit, bro.
Which he moves. In the 2018 film, remember, Miles was initially animated on twos, which means 12 frames per second instead of the normal 24 frames per second, giving him a more staggered, choppier movement. By the end of the movie, he was animated on ones to show his evolution into smoother, more confident swings in 24 frames per second. The movie is deliberately animated, I guess you'd say on fours? It looks like 6 frames per second. Really, really choppy movement, but intentionally staggered. A punk rock poster come to life. I love how this reflects Hobie as a character, a spider variant who makes a choice of being out of step with the other spider people, even more grounded in his home medium than Miles was. It shows Miles that there's another way to exist in this multiverse, an arguably more powerful way, because it forces the viewer to look at every single pose that you strike. Hobie says,
I did not look at all of that shit, bro. Like, nigga, you doing too much. Stop it.
I'm not a role model. I was briefly a runway model. I hate the AM, I hate the PM, I hate labels.
Yeah, hate the PM. A bit of wordplay there, because wordplay is always very common in the Cockney slang. Like later we see him say Scooby-Doo, meaning clue. But by PM, yes, he's saying he hates the time of day in the afternoon, but also he hates the PM as in the Prime Minister, as the punk rock music scene in the UK grew out of anger largely at Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Geology is a 22-time...
I guess, bro, like... Alright, bro. you still a goofy regardless, bro. I'm not letting that go. I'm not letting that go.
Award-winning skin, hair, and body care company recognized in Men's Health, Oprah Daily, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and GQ. Their products are built around just a handful of...
Alright. You got me. You got me. Skip that bitch. He slid that shit in so nice. Like,
award-winning skin, largely at Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Geology is a 22-time award...
Oh, he just say fuck it immediately to the ad. Nah, that was alright. That was just a smooth transition. That was a smooth transition. You're not getting paid in my video though. No. You see that? Yeah, I saw that.
/Rockstars 100 to get started. The spot activates the collider and fuses with the dark matter, and Miles' consciousness briefly overlaps with Jonathan Owen's. He sees the black and white future of Owen's plans to absorb all of reality and cause the deaths of police captains, with Inspector Singh, Gayatri's father, and Miles' dad, Captain Morales, flickering back and forth as they rush to save a kid. So when Miles saves Singh, in his mind, he's saving his own dad, but both are considered canon events that Miguel O'Hara wants to play out. The Alchemex building collapses, raining rubble all over the city, and the Ford leap into action. Privateer sees Gayatri on a double-decker bus on the bridge, recalling MCU Peter Parker's girlfriend MJ in a double-decker bus on Tower Bridge in Spider-Man Far From Home in the MCU. Everyone ends up getting saved. It's an awesome scene, but Miles disrupting the canon event of Inspector Singh's death causes dark matter to consume the city. Jessica Drew arrives with the team to contain it. She takes the rest back to Nueva York, Earth 928, Spider Society HQ. And I just love the reveal that initially it's all upside down, with Miles and the rest on the bottom side of the elevator lift. It's an interesting directional inversion of that great moment in the 2018 film where Miles dives, but they invert the shot to make it look like a triumphant rise.
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of have that as a I don't know. I have it somewhere. I don't remember if it's on my Twitch, YouTube, somewhere. But it's clean. It's such a clean photo.
Here it's the opposite.
I used to have the poster of it, but low-key was like a low-tier poster, like them paper ones. So that shit got like violated.
Miles is technically rising and going up the skyscraper, but because he's upside down, it feels like a descent into hell, because this is not a good place where Miles is going. But hey, we get to meet a ton of spider things. The animators say they created 280 spider people for this movie. We've already met a dozen or so, but the majority of ones in this HQ are really just non-specific variants of different shapes and suit designs. I'm just gonna cover these specific references to ones known from the comics and other media. So as they arrive, we meet Malala Windsor, Spider UK from Earth 835. She's voiced by Sophia Barclay. She says, "Anyone spot the spot?" And Jess gets annoyed and asks if anyone else's jokes, and we see yellow text boxes showing everyone else's jokes. See Spot run? X marks the weird looking bad guy. Did you say quip or thwip? We need to run a spot check. He could be in any hole in the world. Puns are my weak spot. He's probably hiding in some hole in the wall. Hey, way to put us on the spot, mate. This search is starting to peter out. I hate it. And as the camera glides through the main hall, we pass the black and yellow Spider Armor Mark II sitting on the left there. Then a steampunky looking one with these extra images. This is Maybelle Riley, Lady Spider from Earth 803. There's a traffic cop Spider-Man. And then there's a bombastic Bagman. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Then on the walkway, Miles passes the Spider Armor Mark III. And then they pass Peter Parked car
I've seen that one.
Earth 53931. And then dropping into him, Spider Side of Earth 616.
What the fuck is that?
Thick boy clone of 616 Peter. Also, the Last Stand Peter Parker of Earth 312500. This is the Peter with the high collar jacket who gets killed in the Last Stand run and exists alongside Ezekiel Sims. Then Peter of Earth 13122. That's a Lego universe that we saw earlier. Can actually see the little.
Wait, they say, yo, why are you black? Nigga. Wolf 5, bro. Get your goofy ass out of here, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Shush.
Lego Man sitting on top of the windshield there. And then Tarantula of Earth 1610A. 16A being a side universe to Miles' universe of 1610. Then
it's another one of the. I was looking for that. If y'all ever watched the like old ass ancient like Spider-Man animated shit, like there was some point where they had like a Spider-Man who had like 6 arms and shit. If y'all niggas know what I'm talking about, you fucking go there, my nigga. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that shit, that in itself, that series, bro, was actually, like, I don't know, one of the top, like, coolest things I've seen as a kid, bro. That shit was so fire, bro. I didn't watch all of it, but, like, I did watch some of it. It was fire.
16A being a side universe to Miles' universe of 1610. Then they meet the moody and dramatic Ben Reilly Spider-Man, aka the Scarlet Spider from Earth 94.
Yeah.
It's mentioned here that he's a clone.
No, I'm pretty sure it was him. I kind of remember the hoodie, I think. I don't know. He was part of it, though.
because yes, he is from the Clone Saga, and yes, he's got a lot of baggage. Then they meet the Web Slinger, a cowboy Spider-Man from Earth 31913, voiced by Taron Killam, and his horse Widow, who's also in a mask. Lila takes him on the tour of all the multiversal anomaly villains who have been captured. She mentions several Doc Ocks, a Mysterio, also a Mysterio, and then a video game guy section. And between them is the Insomniac Spider-Man of Earth 1048. That's the universe of the PS4 games. And he asks, are you talking to me? And it's the voice of Yuri Lowenthal, who voices Peter in those Insomniac games. There's an interesting villain named Typeface who says, go to Helvetica. In the 2018 movie, they changed all the New York City public transit signs from the Helvetica typeface that it's in the real world to Arial, which Microsoft introduced in the early 90s as an alternative to Helvetica. So this might just be an inside joke with these animators. They might just really hate Helvetica and prefer Arial. And I can tell you, as someone who writes all my scripts in Arial for YouTube, Arial is much nicer.
My nigga, it's a font. It's not that deep, bro.
Because it takes up less space on the page, so that might be it. Then Lila mentions an interesting Craven, a boring Rhino, and then, oh my god, a Prowler, a cameo by Donald Glover.
Yeah, I saw that shit was just like random as fuck. They just put that bitch in there. I was just like, I don't know.
Action. Hobie claims he was the one who caught him himself, and Glover says, I slipped. Remember, Glover played Aaron Davis in the live-action MCU in Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017, and in that movie he referenced having a nephew who lives in that area, and in a deleted scene calls him Miles. Glover also cameoed in the 2018 Spider-Verse film from his scene in NBC's Community when Troy wears Spider-Man PJs. It's possible that this could be the same Aaron from the MCU just years after Homecoming. It is just wild to see.
Let me just say, this dude, bro, he's gotten far as fuck. Like, this is the same nigga who made This Is America. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hey, props to you, bro. Bro's he acting now. Like, I don't know. He just doing all types of shit. I fuck with you, Gambino, bro. I fuck with you. I don't know why they removed that nigga out of Community though. That shit would have been such a fire show if they, man, like, stupid, bro.
A live-action character sharing the screen with animated ones like Mary Poppins or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it increases the likelihood that this series in the next movie may introduce a live-action Miles Morales who will be in the MCU and in the Sonyverse.
We are not continuing that. Let's finish this one. Let's finish Beyond the Spider-Verse as animated, and then let's do the live action, because I'm not trying to see the ending of the Spot and his own thing or whatever the fuck is going on as live action. I'm not trying to see all that. It's not gonna be crispy. I want this animated. This shit that we got. Give me more of that, plus, I don't know, plus more, plus extra, plus ultra. That was corny.
Margot Kess, aka Spider Bite from Earth 22191,
was that corny?
Voiced by Amanda Stenberg. She is a digital avatar, and her physical body is back at home, where she has a poster. We are incognito with a Guy Fawkes logo, an alternate. Yo.
Home, you see this shorty, like, fuck Gwen. Okay, I say that. Fuck Gwen. This my nigga Miles needs to go for her and her. Come on now, like. They immediately vibed straight off, just like immediate, like they met each other and was like, oh, not clicked immediately, just like that. Like, fuck Gwen, straight up, fuck Gwen.
191, voiced by Amanda Stenberg. She is a digital avatar, and her physical body is back at home, where she has a poster. We are incognito with a Guy Fawkes logo, an alternate version of the hacker group Anonymous. All these anomalies are sent to the Go Home machine, which comes back later, but Margot states here that it's based on DNA, which is important. On their way in to see Miguel,
I didn't even know that she said that.
Out of the wall, joking, I bet this doesn't do anything, but it sets up how later he's able to engineer his own multiverse watch for.
Yeah, I did, bro. Nah, that was actually cool. I didn't know bro was actually smart as fuck like that. I just thought he was low-key robbing them niggas. Like, I'm like, hey, yoink, yoink. All right, that's cool.
When to use. Like, notice as they continue to walk through, he keeps swiping more and more stuff.
Literally, I thought he was just robbing them.
Futuristic versions of tech from villains Miguel has defeated by the year 2099, including the claw of a Prowler, the arms of Doc Ock, and the glider of Green Goblin, showing how he must use scraps of their tech to continue building his technology. Miles tries to connect with Miguel by offering him empanadas, but Miguel throws the food back in his face and he responds.
Man, Miguel, bro, you're a fucking bitch, bro. I swear. You really want to be hard so bad, but you're not, bro.
a curt, more technical Spanish than Miles' folksier Puerto Rican Brooklyn slang. Peter B. Parker returns along with his new baby daughter, Mayday Parker, who has baby day pass, telling us that Jessica Drew gave Miles a wristband that's normally for babies. So Miguel launches into his big explanation, first depicting all of reality as a glowing white vine with branches, imagery that I think is made to look just like the sacred timeline.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, sacred timeline? I don't know.
Which split into a multiverse at the end of Loki and is now a messy web, last seen in the post-credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's clear that this movie is trying to establish the animated Spider-Verse as part of the live-action Marvel multiverse from the MCU. But over this white vine,
God, not everything has to be connected, Marvel. Like, you can relax, nigga. Like, stop.
Red lasers beam out to represent the Spider-Verse. Miguel O'Hara refers to this as the web of life and destiny, which is the term in the comics, or as he says here, arachno-humanoid polymultiverse. The nodes represent Kenny, which is the term of the...
I can't tell. Nah, but like in the animated old-ass Spider-Man show, they did have a lady... Madame Spider or some shit. I don't know. It was actually so weird. They did some like weird multiverse thing in there too. I was just like, I'm just gonna go with it. I guess I just went with it.
In the comics, or as he says here, arachno-humanoid polymultiverse. The nodes represent canon events, and in the first one, we see 6 different comics moments when a spider bite occurred, including an early one where Peter's wearing the yellow vest. Behind that, to the right, are various moments Peter and MJ connect, including Kirsten Dunst, Mary Jane, kissing Tobey Maguire Peter in the rain from the 2002 film. Then to the left, the next nodes that Miguel refers to as very, very bad, shows 6 moments the Venom symbiote overtook Eddie Brock in the comics. It's fascinating that Miguel categorizes the creation of Venom as a canon event in the life of it.
Yes, no, literally he has to like any Spider-Man has to have Venom as his villain or something. Like that's just the bully, bro, of his whole thing.
Every Spider person? To me, this kind of feels like Sony's trying to make Venom as important as possible to their Spider-Verse franchise.
I mean, he is. He low-key. It's like 2 sides of one coin, bro. Spider-Man, Venom on the other side, bro.
Also, it'd be kind of weird because their 2 Venom movies so far remove the Spider-Man step from the Venom origin. But going forward, the implication here seems to be that every Peter,
that was different.
Gwen, or whoever will spawn a symbiote-enriched rival that will plague their lives. Then Miguel takes us through what I'm going to call Death Alley, all the mentor figures that the Spider people have lost. Miles sees a projection of his loss of Uncle Aaron from the first film, and Miguel singles out what he calls Event ASM 90, which is a nod to the Amazing Spider-Man number 90, in which George Stacy goes to save a kid. We actually see the same comics art of those panels here during Spider-Man's fight with Doc Ock.
You see it. They actually, it's literally comic 3D comics. It's so cool.
That ends up taking George's life. I believe it's 31 issues after this, Amazing Spider-Man 121, that is the death of Gwen Stacy, his daughter. Miles turns over to a parallel moment, a projection of Andrew freaking Garfield, Peter Parker, crying over the body of Dennis Leary, Captain Stacy from 2012's Amazing Spider-Man film when George was killed by Rhys Ifans' version of the Lizard, Dr. Connors. And again, since all these Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield moments connect to the MCU by association, this animated Spider-Man film is giving us a codified understanding of how the Spider-Verse is all connected, including to the MCU. Miguel confesses that he tried to bypass a canon event of his variant's death in a reality so that he could be happy in a reality with his daughter Gabriella, but eventually that reality erased around him. This may remind you of the logic of what's called absolute points in What If Episode 4.
Yeah, that's why, like, when I was watching this, I was like, bro, no, you're just a dumbass, because you literally tried to take over for another universe. Like, I don't know how, like, is this not a... You should be able to at least figure that one out. It's like, yo, this is in my world. It's gonna disintegrate. Like, why would you stay there? That seems like a you problem, buddy.
Over in the Marvel world, but it just sounds like different terms for the same kind of idea. Peter B. Parker explains the necessary loss of Uncle Ben, and in one node portal, we see Cliff Robertson, Uncle Ben, dying from the 2002 Sam Raimi film, and Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker crying over him. But to the right of that is the animated Spectacular Spider-Man, the one voiced by Josh Keaton, in the moment his Uncle Ben died, and then on the far right is Uncle Ben's death from the cutscene of the PS4 game. Josh Keaton actually joins the other Spider people in this intervention, saying, "I know it's hard, but it's the truth, Miles." When Miguel traps Miles in this red energy field,
I was wondering who that was.
Palms, calling back his advice to Miles back in Manhattan to use the palms instead of the fingertips. And so when Miles listens to him and blasts out of the cage and all the other Spider people chase after him, Hobie's like, nah, I'm out. And he leaves back through a portal and
Yes, sir. My boy was like, hey, I already know you don't fuck with none of these niggas. Like, nah, he this Spider-Man, fuck, huh? What was his name?
Out of the cage, and all the other spider people chase after him. Hobie's like, nah.
Alright, yeah, this nigga Hobie, bro, he went throughout the whole thing. I could notice this nigga was like, he was peeping my boy Miles and was like, nah. I can tell this nigga he won't fuck with none of these Spider-Mans or whatever is going on. They kind of was cool right there. They kind of went right there, and I was like, yeah, you see why my boy Miles is him, and I fucks with that.
Nah, I'm out. And he leaves back through a portal and tosses his watch behind. I'm telling you, as we look ahead to Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, Hobie Brown is a very important character and a potential mentor to Miles Morales that none of the other characters are. So Miguel alerts the Spider Society. In this cafeteria, one of them's reading a newspaper with an opinion page headline, "Are Cats Man's Best Friend?" They all break into groups of 3, recreating the pointing meme from the post-credit scene of the 2018 film, which of course was repeated in the live-action Spider-Man No Way Home. I just love the idea that 3 is kind of a magic number for these spider people to stump them into confusion like this. The group closest to us includes the white logo PS4 game Advanced Suit Spider-Man, and next to him is Spider-Man Unlimited from the late 90s animated series. And then entering Sector 4 is this dude.
Do I have web on my face? What's the deal?
This is Spider-Man 2211, aka Max Bourne from Earth 9500, an associate of Miguel O'Hara in the 90s comics. And Miles clings to his back, kind of like Aladdin does with that bodybuilder when he flees the guards in the chase sequence in that movie. He falls down and they're piling onto him like white blood cells. One of them definitely the gray armored Spider Armor Mark 1, and then Spider Cat, who coughs up a web furball on his face, and notices Spider Cat's gizmo is latched to its tail. Miles says,
"This ain't any damn winner,"
which is a callback to Peter B. Parker when they meet the other 3 eccentric spider people in the 2018 film.
This could literally not get any weirder.
It can get weirder.
And then there's Petarker, aka Spider Rex. When he thwips, it's T-Whip. Miles gets hit by
a T-Rex Spider-Man. What kind of crack cocaine do you have to take to think of a T-Rex Spider-Man? Oh, damn. Damn, that fool got me already tired. Like, damn, it took off all my energy.
A Chibi Spider-Man, the really small one, and then by Spider-Monkey, then the Web Slinger,
what the fuck?
Spider-Man from the Wild West universe and the Ultimate Animated series. He fires bullets from his revolver. Miles and Web Slinger end up in a Clint Eastwood-style duel. The frame goes to a 2:9:3:1 aspect ratio like it does in Westerns, and Miles gets a quick draw with a thwip. And then we get this moment.
And then I looked at my uncle and...
let me guess.
He died.
I love
that
it.
Was,
on the walls
that was
of this
violated.
therapy office is an ink blot test that, naturally, to us and to all these characters, looks like a spider. There's also a diploma from Ditko University, a nod to Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditko, and it names this therapist Spider-Man Ezekiel Sims, who is the old man Spider-Man from the comics. So since he's the oldest of them, he probably is the wisest and has the most therapeutic wisdom to be able to give them. Peter B. Parker asks Miguel to take a photo of he and Mayday's first chase together. Miguel blows him off, but Mayday whips the button of the phone to take the selfie. During the chase, Miles slides into the legs of Flash Thompson Spider-Man, aka Captain Spider. He swings ahead of the bombastic Bagman. This is from the comics when Peter gets stuck in the Fantastic Four's Baxter building and has to borrow one of their suits, and wears a brown paper bag over his head to disguise himself. When Miles twists the bag around on his head, you can see the CMYK Ben-Day dots in his outline staying the same size. We also, of course, see Spider-Man from the Mangaverse. Miles pushes him away. Miles gallops on the horse Widow past the anomalies who cheer on while...
This is a Spider-Man manga? Okay.
Booing Miguel and the others. Miles takes Webslinger's hat and stuffs it in the face of Spider-Wolf. Then Miles passes Charlotte Weber, the Sun Spider, who has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome that affects her joints and connective tissues, so she uses a wheelchair and crutches. She's voiced by Danielle Perez. The 1967 Spider-Man from the animated series returns from the 2018 movie post-credit scene, voiced by Yorma Tacone. And then Miles runs through a kind of danger room with past villains, the Sinister Six from the 90s animated series. We see Doc Ock, Shocker, Goblin, and the rest. Then Miles dives out of the skyscraper. A cyborg Spider-Woman follows, along with a Canadian Spider-Woman with a hockey stick that Chibi Spider-Man rides. Miles drops into the underworld in Nueva York, and Peter B. Parker tries to get him to hold Mayday, saying Miles is the reason he had a kid. Reminds us of that moment in the 2018 film when, remember, Peter B. Parker had split up with his MJ because he didn't want to have kids, but upon meeting Miles and seeing him kick ass, he realized, wait, do I want kids now? Miguel chases Miles on the skybound bullet train, an incredibly animated fight. At one point in Miguel's lunge, a frame flashes from an animated storyboard cell, including some artist notes, Imperial violet and crimson red. This is what instructs the artist which ink color to fill in the character with. These shades are the specific shades of the red and indigo for Miguel's suit. You'll notice these kind of lines and notes often hover around Miguel and his tech. I just love how it hints at Miguel at being a tech head and a control freak, constantly trying to upgrade and upkeep his own animation as he repeatedly has to replug his techno-organic suit. This is what Miles uses against Miguel here, placing his palm on his shoulder, overloading the suit, giving him a classic, hey. And then revealing he intentionally lured all the spider people high above the city.
Nah, that's gonna be his own thing. Like, hey.
So that he could just leap off the train back to the base. Peter B. Parker says, I did teach him that, so I feel like a pretty good mentor, referring to when Peter B. Parker in the 2018 film just jumped off the ledge and fell into the collider beam so that he could go home. Miles goes invisible and sneaks past Margot. He scans its DNA and briefly can see the scan reading Earth 42 since it reads the DNA of the spider that bit him. So the go-home machine goes to work. It's a robot in the shape of a spider wrapping Miles up in a web of lasers. Miguel tries to pry in, but when given the option to reboot the system, Margot decides at the last second to just let Miles go home. So Miles tumbles into this red and green Brooklyn where it rains. It's a
W shorty.
the color scheme that we haven't seen before, so it kind of hits us as really eerie and off, but it bears a similar palette to the 1610 universe that Miguel, Ben Reilly, and Jess go to, making this a really effective visual fake out. Back in 616B, Peter and MJ put May to bed. MJ says there's no playbook on being a parent, you just have to make adjustments at halftime. Which feels like a meta nod to this story's two-part structure. Across the Spider-Verse ends at halftime, Beyond the Spider-Verse being the second half, where Peter and Gwen now have to make adjustments and put some new players on the field. Captain Stacy tells his daughter Gwen that he's quitting being a cop, and he gives her the gadget that Hobie built using tech stolen from Miguel. On the screen it reads Project Bootleg, and for the strap he used a Union Jack pattern band. So Miles swings through Times Square, where all of his villains past and present are haunting him. We see the giant hands of the Spot reaching out to him, but in Times Square if you look closely you see W and W's instead of M&M's, and Soca Coca, which is a giveaway that this is not 1610, because remember in his universe it's Coca Soda instead of Coca-Cola. Ben Reilly camps out outside Miles' room in 1610, but Gwen takes him out, and this is right as we see Miles arriving home, so we naturally just assume it's the same universe. I love when movies do this. A good example is Silence of the Lambs, when you think Clarice Starling and the rest of the FBI are at the same house, but then you realize the raid is happening at the wrong place, and Clarice is at Buffalo Bill's house by herself. This also happens in the Fellowship of the Ring, when you think the ring wraiths are about to stab the hobbits in their beds, but they're actually across the street. It always works on me, and the way they tease this out is so well done. Rio asks Miles why he...
Nah, for real, because I really thought he went back home and they murked down niggas. I really thought bro showed, hey yo fam, I am Spider-Man. Nah, it was Cap whole time.
He changed his hair. She doesn't remember giving him any advice. Miles, though, has a speed bag by his door now. As in Earth 42, Miles would be more of an aggressive fighter. Also, Earth 42 Miles' room has less toys and posters and more stuff in milk crates. Around the house, there aren't really that many photos of Jeff Morales, just the mother and the son, because it would have been too painful to have too many photos of him around. Miles reveals himself as Spider-Man, but Rio doesn't know who it is. And for a second, we're just like, oh, she's just a mom who doesn't really get it. But no,
that ass. I thought it was like that.
In this universe, Miles demonstrates those just sad little whip question mark, and there's a great match cut with Gwen standing on the ceiling of Miles' empty room in 1610. Cut to Miles in Earth 42 with his mom, and Miles finally figures it out, and it hits us like a hammer. Uncle Aaron walks through the door, having never died in this dimension.
Yo, nah, when that nigga came in, he looked like a motherfucking demon. He said, I was like, yo, buddy, chill.
There's no Spider-Man, and they go to the rooftop.
He was moving like,
damn. Crime, on fire, and the worst gut punch, the rooftop mural, in place of the Aaron Memorial, now has a memorial for Jeff Morales.
Rest in peace.
In the upper corners of that mural, Pichelli and Bendis, for Sarah Pichelli and Brian Michael Bendis, creators of the Miles Morales character. Miles gets KO'd by his alternate Prowler self before he sees it coming. His spider sense never went off, maybe because he can't sense himself, especially if that variant self doesn't have spider powers. Miles.
Huh? I mean, I thought it was more like a danger sense. Like,
wakes up tied to Aaron's punching bag, the same one that he used to work out on in the 2018 film, and the one Miles tied Peter B. Parker to. Aaron puts on an album, Ain't No Love by A Lion Unleashed, featuring Bobby Blue Band. Aaron punches the bag, releasing a blast of CMYK dots, like all the ink was slammed out of it. We briefly hear the voice of J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, reporting crime from the TV as a younger Prowler steps forward, Miles G. Morales, whose hair is braided, the same one we saw back in the Spot's backstory of the spider that left Earth 42. Our Miles' face is lit red on one side, blue on the other, mixing in the middle as
Big
Prowler
bro
Purple.
Miles.
His fingertip manages to produce a small spark on the chain, but he doesn't have his full palm free. Meanwhile, Gwen reunites with Peter B. Parker in Mayday as we hear her drum solo returning from the opening minutes, and we see the new band that she has put together, including Gwen, Peter B. Parker, Mayday, Hobie Brown, Privateer Pravacar, Margot Kess Spider-Bite, and returning from the first film, but not saying anything, Penny Parker, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Man Noir. And we end with Gwen asking us the line, "You want in?" This explains why the film opened the way it did. From Gwen's point of view, a third-person account on what Miles went through, telling us why she quit her band, saying let's do things differently this time, and why the opening images included things that happened to Miles throughout the film. This was all Gwen's sales pitch, her recruiting mission, what she said to every single one of these spider people to get her to join her team, to join this rescue mission, and this brave step to defy the Spider Society. So yeah, we want in, and go ahead and take my money for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
On me, nigga, on me! Once that shit comes out, I'm gonna be geeked, bro. I'm gonna be so geeked, man. Golly. That's a whole ass 40. No, more than 40, cause I'm reacting. God, that was like an hour. At least I'm already doing it. Damn, why you gotta make this video so long, bro? Come on, let me stretch my body.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.